Welcome back to the channel. This is the back nine at Pebble Beach. If you have not watched the front nine, please click on the link at the top right of this video. I also want to give a big shout out to Doug over at the Golf Clan for letting me use his aerial footage of Pebble Beach. So we are currently 6 over par, but I feel like I'm playing better than the score indicates. Despite my whinging, we start off with a decent drive. Catch a piece of the fairway. That is an 8-iron from about 155 yards. The irons have been a strong suit up to this point. Unfortunately, that is a big old chunk. We find the left side bunker. I'm practicing soft hands here, just trying to get underneath the ball. Unfortunately, I caught a little too much sand, so we are still in the bunker. And we are now out of it, but unfortunately, we're still not on the green. Making a mess of the 10th hole here. And for all you golfers getting glizzies during the turn, watch out for seagulls at Pebble Beach. They are very smart. They will run off with your hot dog as soon as you turn your back. Unfortunately for me there, I ended up triple bogeying the 10th hole, so we do not start off the video on a strong suit. But that is a pretty solid drive here on the 11th. It leaves us with just a pitching wedge in. I catch this one pretty good, but unfortunately I pulled it left of target.
Right of the what? The shadow of the flag.
My caddy Jerry has been pinpoint with his reads all day.
Go in. Go!
And he continues to do so. That almost went in.
Pro chip. That was a pro chip. So then that we just call that one good.
That was a pro chip and a pro read. Fist bumps all around. We move to the 12th hole. 12th hole is playing around 185 yards. That is a 4-iron because we are hitting into wind. Usually my 4-iron goes about 195. I absolutely flushed this 4-iron, and it would be a little too much.
It was a 5.
We had been discussing before that shot whether to use the 4 or the 5. I went with the 4. In hindsight, I should have listened to my caddy and used the 5-iron. I knew right away I made an egregious mistake on this putt. It sails way past the hole, and now that will leave me with an 8-footer for par. I gave it a good run, but we would miss the par putt. Tapping for bogey, and you're starting to see a lot more unforced errors. 13th hole. Just when I thought I had the driver figured out, I pushed that way right of the fairway. I love that caddy. He is so full of optimism, especially at a time in this round where I'm not playing as well as I would have liked. I'm hitting dead into wind here. That was a 5-iron, but I kept that a little too low. It would run off the green. So I have this very delicate chip. I'm aiming out to where my caddy is. And look how much that bend to the right.
Not terrible.
Yeah, if it moves, it goes right. But it's not much.
Okay.
Just uphill though. Slow putt.
A great caddy helps you visualize the putt. It is now up to me to put it into action.
Yeah, there it is.
It slips in the left side of the hole. We end up with a par on that. And a lot of my pars on this day are of the scrambling variety, but I will take it any way I can get. 14th hole is a nice little fade down the middle of the fairway. I could tell you at this point in the round I was physically exhausted. This was my 10th round in 7 days. That was not an excuse for how bad that shot was. This will leave me with a really long approach at this green, over 215 yards. And I really wish that was the miss on my second swing. You can see I'm getting a little impatient with myself, and it leaves me extremely short-sighted here.
Easy. There it is.
Oh, good one there.
He's going home.
Hey, you think so?
Well, I don't know. It was heading right for it.
It was headed right for it, but these greens are really fast and it would roll past the hole. That was a par putt and it would come up just a tad short. That would be a tap in for bogey. 15th hole. I remember here I put the ball a little bit further out in front of my stance. We're trying to avoid the rights, and that worked out to perfection. I found the middle of the fairway here. I have a pitching wedge in hand, and listen to the wind right here.
Oh, the wind.
I felt like I struck that really well, and a gust of wind blew it left and into the bunker here. Certainly wasn't my doing. That was a delicate bunker shot, and we put it around 3 feet, so we have a nice kick in for par. Or so I thought. It will lip out, and we put another bogey on the scorecard. 16th hole. When I struck this, I thought it was perfect, but that was a little too far right, and now I have this very awkward stance. That's a 9-iron from about 125 yards. The ball is well above my feet. I was aiming way far right to take into account of that, and I still hook it left. I end up in a bunker with this very awkward stance. That was the best I could do in that situation. I got it out, but I'm still chipping back on. And the wheels are starting to feel like they're coming off.
Yeah, a little bit too much.
But Jerry still believes in me. I'm doing it for Jerry now. He gives me the line.
Nice putt. Hey, beautiful putt. Great read. Pro read right there.
I cannot tell you how many strokes Jerry saved me on this day.
So we still got the magic.
We still got the magic as we're heading to the 17th tee. If you remember from the previous par 3, I used a 4-iron. These are the same exact elements as that previous par 3. This time I got a 5-iron in hand. I absolutely flushed that 5-iron. It leaves us with about 10 feet for birdie. Oh, and I knew right away I was going to miss that. So that putt was conceded. That is a par. We move on to the 18th and one of the great finishing holes ever in the history of golf. I'm taking a conservative line here, aiming right of that tree in the middle of the fairway. And we can check that one off the bucket list. Finding the fairway on the 18th.
There it is.
So we're laying up here with a 5-iron. And let's add one more bad shot to the list, shall we? That actually wasn't terrible. We would have a decent approach in for our third shot. We only have about 115 yards, so I got a pitching wedge in hand, and all I have to do is hit it past that bunker. It wasn't the greatest strike in the world, but we do get the job done. And not only that, we have a decent look at birdie. This is about 15 to 20 feet. We have one last attempt at birdie. We come up just a tad short. That would be a nice tap in par. We finish out the round very strong. And as you can see from those red boxes, 2 disaster holes blew up my score quite a bit, but a shot of 43 on the back 9 for a total of 85. I had some decent chances at birdies, but none of them found the cup. But honestly, this was never about my score. I could have shot 100 and would have walked away a happy man. A few years ago, I started on a journey to play some of the best courses in the US. I've played the Ocean Course, Whistling Straits, Erin Hills, Pacific Dunes, and I loved all of them. But when I played Pebble Beach, it was just different. Pebble is the only course that no one will ever complain about playing over 5.5 hours. It's a national treasure and one that I will never forget.